segment on is Sygnet. This is digital sovereign identity on the blockchain. So welcome to the stage, Marcin.
Hello again. So we're going to talk about sovereign digital identity. This is a project that we started building using blockchain. But before we go on to the merit, I'd like to share something personal with you. I actually had a privilege of being locked up in an Indian temple for the bigger part of last year, studying hardcore yoga for 14 hours a day. And the person who ran the gig, he passed a lot of this kind of yogic wisdom to us. And one thing particularly stuck into my mind that he kept repeating. And it went like this: what you know, you know. What you do not know, you do not know. There is actually no in between. And that hurts. But the reason why I bring this up right now is because it's especially relevant to digital identity space. We know it's gonna happen, it's for sure. There is no way we can do this on paper. But we totally don't know how it will happen. It's such a scattered space. It's thousands of use cases. And there's a lot of companies and a lot of billions of dollars are going to go into it. So, having said all that, we're one of the companies that are actually trying to set up their presence before that storm happens. So we're ready to tackle it on with the best technology that is out there. And we're using all the knowledge that is basically available right now of all the providers and trying to piece this together and build it into something that is workable. And that something is called Sygnet. So this is how it's phrased. Sygnet is a digital identity management tool that allows you to have full control over digital identity by radically changing the way it works in the online world. The problem we're solving. I don't know, a lot of you probably are aware of the hacks that happen every now and then when heaps of data is leaked and is personal, sensitive, and it allows for all kinds of shit to happen. We've seen the Facebook hack just recently with 50 million of accounts basically out in the open, and that's part of something that is now considered to be digital identity. Actually, you use Facebook to log into other portals or whatever, and it is a big problem. So prone to mass hacking, hard to transfer. There is no way to extract whatever company knows about you and use it somewhere else. It's hard to control. There's no way to efficiently control how this is done. And last but not least, but I think this is actually the most important one that could give us some traction. It's hard to monetize. Other companies are doing this for us, and they're keeping all the revenue. So the solution to that is self-sovereign identity, the SSI. And it's a concept that, of course, we didn't invent that, because a lot of people are working on it. And it solves almost all of these problems. And the reason why no one's ever cracked it before is because the bootstrapping is hard. But it's well worth the shot, because it's going to happen no matter what. This is what we know, like I said before. So the SSI is unforgeable. So no one can pretend that they're me. Even if they steal all my data, still, there's no way to impersonate me. It's untraceable. This is how we're doing it in Sygnet. So no one can track me without my explicit consent. It's portable, so I can move it around without any friction and take it from one place to another. Verifiable. You can be trusted with it. Whatever you present, the claims that are on it are actually impossible to fake. We can manage it easily, so we're aware of who knows what about me. Monetizable, this is our favorite one. I mean, like, we're doing this not for charity reasons, after all. And this is how we see this happening. That I am the primary beneficiary when my personal data is being traded. Also unhackable. You have to hack it one account at a time. This is the only way to do it. This is how the blockchain actually protects the thing. There's no centralized database that we could extract everything all at once and then put it to work. And this already has happened. And I don't know whether you guys are familiar with the Aadhaar hack in India, where basically some very clever Indians have, I don't know, they figured out how to change the sensitivity of the retina scanners, and they started coining these fake digital identities and using them around doing all kinds of weird shit. Irrevocable. This is an interesting one because we see that there's two sort of ways how digital identity could progress from now, and we think they're going to happen in parallel. One is the sort of the Orwellian nightmare, where governments sort of hand us their chips, put them in our necks or something. And the other one is the sovereign one. We think we should stand up for the sovereign and develop it as high as we can before this sort of forceful move happens by the governments. So the irrevocable one, the sovereign one, cannot be taken away from us. So now I'm going to hand it over to Jakub, the CEO of Sygnet, and he's going to talk about the use cases. Thank you.
Right. So I would take you through three most obvious use cases that can be achieved with this technology. So first one is the classic one. This is the low-hanging fruit. So what we could do, probably everybody is familiar with this KYC process. So when you need to prove who you are if you want to use some service, some online service. So you send your ID, you probably get a picture of yourself, and then you get it verified. So what could be done with this technology? You could go with this process just once, and then get a certificate, then get a private key associated with this certificate, and then you could use this private key to identify yourself. So you go through the process once, and then you use it multiple times. And you could be verified by multiple services, so it's even more trustable. The other use case is related to this single sign-on utility. Probably everyone is familiar with this login with Facebook or login with Google functionality. So it's very convenient, but we could improve it radically, because what could be done? You could use your own identity, the self-sovereign identity, to achieve the same goal. So there are two advantages. First, there is no Facebook, no Google involved. You logged in with your own identity. And the other one is that you use your real-life identity. So it's not your Facebook profile. It could be you, defined as a name and a surname and some security number, or it could be anonymous, and you log in, for example, as a person who has a driving license. So it's can be really useful. And the last one, it's about monetizing personal data. So personal data can be monetized. It's already monetized, but the problem is you are not part of it, you as a user. So with this technology, you could be the primary beneficiary of monetization of your personal data. Okay, so let's briefly discuss the competition that we have. We are part of a bigger landscape. Actually, there are several companies doing what we are doing, and it's a good thing, really, because at this stage, nobody has managed to achieve mass adoption, which is needed for this technology to have any impact. So everybody is learning, and we are learning as well from others. And also at this stage, there's no point talking about competition, because we are more like partners trying to bootstrap the same thing. So we are really cooperating with each other, and especially when the whole thing becomes standardized, different infrastructures will be able to talk to each other and exchange data. So actually, everyone is working towards the same goal. And what sets us apart from other companies, we listed like 6 major items that we think are important. Firstly, we have unique geographical location, which is very important, because identity is, at least at the initial stage, very localized. So we have access to local banks, local governments, and stuff like this. And we are very keen on user experience. So we want to create a system that that uses a blockchain, but the user should not be aware that the blockchain is behind it. And as Martin mentioned, bootstrapping is really the most difficult part of it, because otherwise there's some only advantages. But bootstrapping is difficult, and we have some cool ideas about bootstrapping. Also, we're using very good technology. We are not trying to reinvent the wheel. So for business logic, we'll probably be using EOS, and for the identity part, there's a special blockchain called Sovereign. We want to build, at least to try to build on top of those technologies. And untraceable settlements, this is a little bit tricky because there'll be some financial exchange involved between those who produce this self-sovereign identity and those who consume those self-sovereign identity. And the problem is that if there is a financial flow, users can be traced. So we have some idea how to send the financial flow, but without the user being disclosed to the identity provider. And also, we have some ideas how to monetize the whole thing using this concept of monetizing your personal data. And very briefly about how to make money on this. So there are many ways. The major ones are those three. So we can build the settlement layer to arrange exchange of value between those who consume identity and those who produce identity. We can become an identity provider ourselves. So this in the future when we gain reputation. And lastly, the software that we create will be free, but there can be some improved versions with more features, and those could be paid versions. So this is the way we could get a revenue. Okay, so Martin will finish.
Okay, so just to wrap it up. Oh, I didn't expect that. Well, anyway, there used to be one more slide here. But my final words are this, that we actually think that the digital identity moment right now is a bit like we had with blockchain in 2008 or 9. That this is going to be the buzzword for the next probably 5 years. And right now we're the lonely nutters, so sort of the early miners of Bitcoin that have to spread the word and talk about this weird thing that is about to happen, and no one knows how it's going to catch fire. But we're most certainly sure that it will. So we are looking to seed fund this project. Our credentials are pretty known because we are also Tokenica, the block producer on EOS. We managed to secure some financial stability over the last 6 months. And also our history in DPoS and EOS is actually very extended. It dates many years back. So if you're interested to talk about more of this, just come and visit us at the yellow booth over there and we can answer all your questions. That's everything from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.